Today's practice is all around balance. Now, we have lots of themes in the Soul Sanctuary. Every month so far has been themed. It's something that will probably continue to stay. No guarantees, but I love a theme. And balance for me, the reason why I wanted to bring this one into the challenge was because balance really looks at not only the physical, but the mental side of yoga. Now, when we start to wobble and we start to struggle with our balance, it's not just a physical feeling that happens in the body. It's not just those wobbles. We start to look at kind of frustration and moving quickly and not really taking time to be present. So when we look at like yoga off the mat and how we can bring it into a practice, balance practices are really, really great for that. So we're going to be working through lots of variations of balances today. No worries if you fall out of them. If you wobble, one thing I would say is to just take a moment. If you kind of wobble and you fall out of a balance, maybe it's tree pose, whatever it is, take just a moment before you throw yourself back into the posture. Take a moment to re-arrive in your space, ground through your base, so a foot, and then move slowly back into the posture. So doing everything mindfully and seeing even the fall and the move back into the posture as a transition. We look at transitions so much in our practices, moving from one place to the next. So even seeing a fall or a wobble as part of the transition. Okay, we're going to get started, and we're going to start today in a kneeling position, just where I am right now, and just take a few moments to ground. Place just the hands down on the lap, no kind of right or wrong as to where they go. Close your eyes and just take a shoulder roll going back, maybe a couple of shoulder rolls if that feels good, just opening through the chest a little. So like I said, using these few moments to arrive in our practice. Checking in with the body, checking in with the breath. Can you notice the rise and fall of the chest and the belly with each breath in and each breath out? So just allowing yourself to be here and to remind yourself that you are exactly where you need to be right now. Gently fluttering open the eyes. You're going to place the fingertips down in front of you, which is going to come into a toe stretch. So shift the weight forwards, tuck under the toes and sit back onto the heels. Now, modified, you're going to be here with the fingertips down. Taking it into the fullest expression of the pose, you're going to sit back on the heels, maybe bring the hands to heart center into our Namaste Mudra. And close your eyes. I'm going to be here for a few moments. Really see if you can find the meditation within this posture. Can you focus on breath? Can you stay connected to this moment as we open out through the backs of the feet? Crown of the head lifting up towards the sky. And maybe you start to notice the bottoms of those feet getting really stretched out. Can you stay connected to breath? Can you stay present right here, right now? And then very gently, if they're not already down, place the fingertips down, shift the weight forwards. Ooh, have a little bit of a tap through those feet. And then sitting back on the heels and lifting the knees. So we're going to open out through the front of the feet now, the front of the ankles. Lift the chest. And you can keep the fingertips down to modify, or you can again bring the hands to heart center. And closing those eyes. And if halfway through you need to put your fingertips down or anything like that, you absolutely can do. Trying to stay connected to breath. And gently, placing those knees down, place the hands down and just again tap out the feet. Maybe just pick up the feet, have a little wiggle. Nice. Now, keeping the toes tucked under, we're going to come into just a little toe balance. So we're standing on the toes. Heels are off your mat. And again, you're going to bring the hands to heart center and try to just be here. Now, really, really nice way to work on our core stability is being in this position, but then finding a little bit of movement as well. So releasing the hands down. You're going to inhale, take the arms all the way up. And then you have to take that little rotation through the shoulders as you exhale, bring the arms behind. Inhale, arms reach up. Exhale, take the arms back behind. Now bring the hands to heart center again. We're going to power up through the legs and go all the way to standing, reaching the arms high. Come all the way up. Can you stay on the toes? Find that inner line of energy. Squeeze the legs together. And then slowly making your way down. Beautiful. Let's go one more time. Take it all the way up. Can you stay up on the toes? Squeeze the legs. And then bringing it down. Coming back into that toe stand. Nice. Release the hands. You're going to place the hands down near the top of the mat. And then take it all the way back to your downward facing dog. Now, take what you need here in your downward facing dog. Maybe a pedal out through the feet, a shake, a nod of the head. A few more moments just to be here. And now take your feet super wide. So they're going to be as wide as the mat, and the arms are going to be as wide as the mat as well. From here, can you take the right hand off and just bring it on top of the heart? And maybe you can't bring it this far, maybe it just comes off for a second, that's absolutely fine. Still staying strong through that left arm. Place the right hand down and then switch sides. So bringing the left hand towards the heart or just hovering it off the mat. So we're working with balance where we shift the weight and we take one limb off at a time. Take that left hand down. Now, can you keep the hips square? This one's a bit of a challenge. Keep the hips square as you start to lift the right foot. You're going to notice that you shift the weight over to the left side, but try and keep as central as possible. Place that right foot down and then take it over to the left. So picking up that left foot, really pushing through the left hand. That's going to help keep you centered. And place left foot down. Amazing, well done. Start to walk the hands all the way back towards the feet. Just open those toes out, drop the bottom down, find your way into Malasana or yogic squat. Hands to heart center. Take a moment here, opening through the hips, a little wiggle side to side. Keep that chest lifted. And now we're going to come into staying in a Malasana. And some people will already be here because you might not be able to get the heels down, but you're going to come to Malasana with the heels off. So we're having to work balance and strength a little bit more from this position. And then we're going to, again, reach all the way up to the sky, coming to stand on the tips of the toes, power through the legs. Really having to power through the groin, the adductors, reach high. Now, can you stay as still as possible? Circle those arms around behind you. Inhale, take them up. So notice, is it harder with your legs apart? No right or wrong. For me, it is. I find it easier when I can get that inner line of energy working. Slowly start to lower down back to the Malasana, staying up on the toes. So really still working with that balance. Well done. Breathing here, connect to breath. And then we're going to power up and take the arms high up to the sky. Powering through, up, 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 up. Squeeze, reach it up, and then take those arm circles. Arms come behind. Inhale, bring them up to the front. And then exhale, bring them round again, hands to heart center, and start to come down to that balanced Malasana. Beautiful. One more breath here. And release it down. Walk the hands forwards, make your way back to a downward facing dog. Inhale, shift the shoulders forwards, find your high plank. From your high plank position, you're going to see if you can hover the right arm off the mat. Now, maybe it just comes off for a second. Maybe you can reach that right arm long. It helps to have the feet hip width apart. Holding here. And then place right hand down. Can you take the left arm off? Again, take a breath here. Place it down. Now with the feet, take the right leg off. Place it down. Take the left foot off. Amazing. Placing it down. Exhale, wave the body back. Downward facing dog. Take an inhale. And sigh it all out. On your next inhale, step or float feet to the hands. Lift the chest, create space. Exhale, fold down over both legs. Inhale, sweep the arms high up to the sky. Exhale those hands through heart center. Inhale, take the arms up. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, create space. Exhale, place the hands, step or float back, work through a vinyasa. Meeting back in your downward facing dog. Inhale, sweep the right leg up towards the sky. Open the hips here so you can bend that top knee. Be mindful of that left shoulder wanting to collapse inwards. Try and keep the shoulders nice and square, but we are opening through the hips. Holding here. On an inhale, step that right foot between the hands, reach the arms up, find your high lunge. Option to come up onto the ball of that right foot. So you're finding that balance here a little bit deeper. Holding here. And then placing the right heel down, open it out, warrior two. Flip the right wrist, find reverse warrior. Now with your back hand, can you sweep that back hand around and take the grasp on the inside of the right thigh? If you can't, no worries. From here, a little challenge. Now you're going to push forwards and see if you can come to find your half moon, so your Ardha Chandrasana. Keeping that left hand on the inside of the right thigh. If you need to take the right hand down onto a block, by all means do. Now, extra challenge here. Can you start to bend in the left leg and reach around and take hold of the left foot with the right hand? This one is challenging. No worries if you're not quite there. Stay with your Ardha Chandrasana, your traditional half moon. Slowly unravel. Unravel both hands. I'm falling all over the place. Frame the foot. Step it back to high plank and work through your vinyasa, chaturanga, upward facing dog, downward facing dog. Well done. Good work. If like me, you were falling all over the place, feel into that sense of playfulness, that sense of letting go of frustration, just allowing yourself to be in touch with that inner child who doesn't mind falling over. Opening now, sweeping the left leg up, opening through that left side, being again mindful of the shoulders. One more breath here. And then stepping that left foot through between the hands. Sweep the arms all the way up. Option to power through that front leg, coming up onto the left toes. Just an option, you do not have to take this. Get a little lower into that lunge. Place the left foot down, open yourself up. Find your warrior two. Reach those fingertips nice and long. And then flip the left hand and sweep it all the way up. Find your reverse warrior. Now the option to take that right hand, swing it around, and can you take hold of the inside of the left leg whilst keeping in your reverse warrior? Now the transition, a tricky transition. So if you fall or you have to put your hands down, no worries. With control, pushing off that back leg, find the balance. Come to find your Ardha Chandrasana, your half moon. If you can keep the hand where it is, by all means do. If you need to put the fingertips down, then take that, take your variation. If you're going for the extra challenge and you're going to start to bend in that right foot, can you take hold of the right foot with the left hand? Ooh. And like me, if you fall, slowly seeing if you can come back into it. And then gently unraveling, placing both hands down, frame the foot, step it back to plank. Take an inhale here. Exhale, chaturanga, or modify through the knees. Inhaling, upward facing dog or cobra. Exhale, downward facing dog. Nice big releasing breath. Inhale. And let it all go. Okay, step or jump the feet to the hands. Lift the chest, create space. Exhale, fold down over both legs. Inhale, start to peel the body all the way up to standing, head and neck coming last. Now grab your strap. You may want it for the next balance postures. Grounding down through the left foot, we're going to come to find Vrikshasana tree pose to begin with. So with your tree pose, you can either take traditional tree, sole of the foot to the inside of the thigh, or you're going to take it to the inside of the calf or the inside of the ankle. We never want it on the knee. We don't want to be putting sideways pressure onto that knee joint because it's a hinge joint. It goes forwards and backwards. So when you find your position, just take your hands to your hips and have a little think about the hip bones. Are they pointing forwards? A lot of the time we think that this right leg or the leg that's up needs to be exactly pointing out. But even from me, you can see that if that right knee is fully out laterally, my hips aren't square. So I want to square my hips. Inhale, take the arms all the way up to the sky. And then float that right hand down onto the right knee. So you can inhale, find length. And then exhale, can you take a little side bend over to that right side and start to just breathe into the opening through the left side body. One more breath here. Slowly bringing both arms all the way up to the sky and neutralize the spine. Hands come through heart center. Now your option, you can use a strap if you would like to, or you're going to hug the right knee into the chest or take the two peace fingers around the right toes and start to reach that leg out long. Left hand comes to the left hip. Crown of the head reaches upwards. Connect to breath. Start to open that right leg all the way out to the side. Maybe you can shift the gaze over to the left. Keep the crown of the head lifting. And then starting to bring that right leg all the way back through center. Now the challenge, release the foot, point the toes, keep the leg as high as you can. Arms come up to the sky for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Hands to heart center. Start to sweep that right leg all the way through. Find warrior 3. Well done, you worked really hard. That left leg probably burning a little bit. Holding in your warrior three. Now start to bend through the left leg. Let's take a couple of dips here for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Release fingertips down, standing split. Option of maybe taking that left hand around the left calf or left ankle. Going a little deeper. Keep breathing here. Take an inhale, lift the chest, come up onto the fingertips. Place the hands down, step it all the way back, find your high plank and vinyasa your way all the way through, meeting back in the downward facing dog. Beautiful. On your inhale, you're going to step or float the feet, but coming into Malasana. So feet are wide, bottom comes down, hands to heart center. We're just going to take one more of those rises up and coming down. So come up onto the toes in your Malasana. Power through the legs, power through those adductors as you start to lift all the way up. Squeeze the glutes and slowly start to lower it down. Well done. Place fingertips down. The option of an arm balance. This is a balance. Just because it's not on the feet. So option of an arm balance here, coming to find crow pose, Bakasana. You don't have to take it. If you'd rather not, you can stay in Malasana, or you can just work with a few little options of shifting the weight forwards, maybe lifting one foot at a time. So finding a place that feels right for you. 2 more breaths. And slowly lowering down. Heel toe the feet to hip width apart, lift the bottom, fingertips come down to the mat, take a forward fold. Shift the weight towards the front of the feet. You can maybe take opposite elbows, a little sway side to side. And then starting to peel the body all the way up to standing, head and neck coming last. Heel toe those feet together and just stand in Tadasana for a moment. So this time we're grounding through the right leg, lifting up the left leg, coming to find your tree pose. Remember the same setup as we did before. So fingertips to the hips. Can we get those hips nice and square? And once you feel like you've got the square hips, we're grounding through that right foot. You can reach the arms all the way up to the sky. Take a moment here to arrive. And then softly float that left hand down onto the left knee. Inhale, find length. As you exhale, take a little stretch over to the left side. This time as you breathe, finding opening in the right side body. One more breath here. And then bringing both arms all the way up to the sky, neutralize through the spine, and then lower the hands down, bring them into your Namaste Mudra. So the same options, either using your strap or take hold of the left knee or taking the 2 peace fingers around the left big toe. Right hand comes onto the hip, start to reach that left leg out, if that's where you're going. If you're just holding the knee, stay there if you've got your strap. Crown of the head reaching all the way up to the sky. Really drawing up through those core muscles and opening the left leg out to the left side. I'm going to take a little rest on my fireplace here because I haven't got space. Can you take the gaze over to the right side? No worries if you can't. Drishti is such an important part of balance. So if you can't change and shift the gaze, your drishti, then no worries. Stay with a place that feels good. Slowly start to bring that left leg back to the front. And then to release the toes, point the toes, reach the arms up, super strong for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Hands come to heart center. Start to sweep left leg all the way through, lowering the chest. Hips are square, warrior 3. Crown of the head reaches long. So you've got that nice long line through the crown of the head, all the way down to the coccyx. Take a little dip through that right leg, and we're going to take 5 of these. So for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Beautiful. Float the hands down onto the mat, standing split, taking that left leg up as high as you can. The option to maybe wrap that right hand around the right ankle or the right calf. Holding here. Another big breath. And then releasing both hands down. Lift the chest, big step back, find your plank. Take an inhale. Exhale, working down chaturanga. Inhaling, upward facing dog or cobra. Exhale, downward facing dog. Nice, taking a big releasing breath. Inhale. Let it go. When you're ready, you're gonna hop or step those feet to Malasana, so the outside edges of the mat near the front. Hands to heart center, last round of these. So coming up onto the toes, find your balance, power through, engage the legs as you come all the way up to standing. Reach those hands high, and then gently starting to slow it down, coming all the way back down into your Malasana. Hands come down to the mat. Last option for a little crow balance here. So if you're not taking crow, stay in your Malasana. If you want to take your crow or you want to give it a go again, then now is your time. Breathing here. And then if you're holding crow, you can work your jump back and vinyasa, or you can just step back and take a vinyasa. Entirely up to you. Meeting all the way back in a downward facing dog. Let's just take one more of those big releasing breaths. Inhale and let it go. Slowly start to bring yourself over into high plank, and then make your way all the way down onto the belly. Nice. Shalambhasana. So you can separate the feet slightly here. You're going to bring the hands down by the side of the body. You're going to take an inhale and lift the chest, and then lift the feet off. So we're working those lower back muscles. Holding here. Stay connected to breath. For another 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Slowly lower. Shift those hips side to side. I'm going to go one more round exactly like that again. So bringing the hands down by the side and start to lift all the way up. Chest is off. Try not to crank the head back. We want to keep that line nice and long like we spoke about in the Warrior 3. Working those lower muscles in the back. And slowly release, shifting again. Hips side to side. Placing the elbows down. Come to find Sphinx. Lift the chest. And moving that left hand into the center line. Bending in the right leg. Reach around. Can you start to draw the heel towards the bottom? It does not need to be at the bottom. It just needs to be where it's heading. Keeping the chest lifted. So just getting a nice stretch through the hip flexors and the quads, because they have worked very hard. One more breath here. Inhale. Exhale, release. Switch sides, placing the right hand down, bending in the left leg, reach around. Can you take hold of that left foot? Keep the chest lifted. Maybe even closing the eyes here. And release. Just lowering the chest down. Shift yourself back and come to find a child's pose. Taking a wide leg child's pose if you can. If that's not comfortable, you can totally take a narrow leg child's pose. And just feel the forehead melting down towards the mat. Take a little shift side to side, checking in with those hips. Just one more breath here to really just be in this space, be present. And then making your way up. Come to find plank position. Tuck under the toes, lift the knees. Left knee comes to the left elbow. Lower the knee down towards the wrist. Bring it up to the elbow, down to the wrist, and then place it down for pigeon. I like to make you work for your pigeon. So, option, as always, to take an active variation of pigeon. If you're feeling for more of a stretch, absolutely take the traditional forward fold. If you want to work active pigeon or you just want to see how it feels, you're going to lift the back knee, tuck under the toes, and you're going to be lifting yourself up and off of the mat. So this is your active pigeon. I am actively using the body so much. So it depends what you want out of your practice. But don't be afraid when someone's teaching you to take a slightly different variation of a pose if you know it's going to serve you better. So wherever you're at, just taking a few breaths. Closing the eyes. Slowly working your way back up, place the hands down and make your way back into the plank position. Drawing the right knee to the elbow, hover it down by the wrist, bring it back to the elbow, down to the wrist, and then find your pigeon. She's gone mad after all of that balancing. So finding your variation of the pose, looking to move into a space that is going to serve you and your body in this practice. And wherever you go to, closing those eyes. And just taking a few deep breaths here. And then gently walking those hands up if you were in the fold. You're going to bring the back leg around in front of you, and then you're going to open the legs out for a straddle. And we're just going to take a little forward fold here. So taking those legs as wide as you want. You can pop yourself up on a block or a cushion, or you can place a cushion down in front of you. Start to walk those hands forwards. And really what I want you to think about here is while we're in the stretch, try not to get too comfortable. Those of you that are quite flexible here, thinking, well, everybody, but especially those of you that are flexible and you end up just kind of like flopping down to the floor, think about the thigh bone, the femur. You want it to be externally rotating. So the hip is externally rotating and we're sending that thigh bone back. We're engaged. The feet are flexed. And then we can come all the way down if that feels good. So keeping those legs switched on. So you will not be able to fall asleep here. Your body is actively working. A couple more breaths. And gently walking the hands all the way up. Give those legs a little bit of a shake. And then bring the knees together. Bring yourself around into a narrow leg child's pose, just to take a few moments to wind down. A nice thing to do here can be to take a cushion. This one might be a little bit too big, but to place a cushion between the bottom and the heels, and then come down into the child's pose. Just makes it a little bit comfier. So see if that might work for you today. And then when you get into your child's pose, close your eyes and just allow the forehead to take that connection to earth, that connection to the energy that we are drawing upon. Just allowing the breath to soften. And notice the body as it follows and starts to soften as well. Just allowing yourself a few more moments to really let go. And keeping those eyes closed, can you gently start to lift yourself up, either staying in the kneeling position or just coming into something that's more comfortable for you. Placing one hand on top of the other at the heart center. And we'll seal our practice today with one big releasing breath. Inhale. And let it go. Thank you. Thank you so much and well done. Amazing, amazing work. Well done. 7 days of yoga. And I really, really hope that you loved it and that you enjoyed that journey. And I hope that you stay as part of the Soul Sanctuary and you'll get access to the full membership. So take care and I'll look forward to seeing you on the mat. Bye-bye.